Hi folks, it's James here. Welcome to another video. How are you all doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Just trying to do a nice, good vibey video this evening. Seems like we need it at the moment. So I'm going to run through 10 of my favourite psychedelic songs of all time. Not going to say that they are my favourite songs in the genre, but 10 of my favourites. Won't spend too long on this. They're all quite well-known tracks, so I don't need to hopefully talk for too long. And the order is not too exact. Maybe the top 2 or 3 you could say are my absolute favourites, but don't take the order too seriously. So we'll start with the Rolling Stones. Look at that scrumptious cover. So we will go with 2000 Light Years from Home by the Stones, which obviously sounds very trippy. It's got all the bells and whistles on it, and look at that cover. Absolutely mind-melting, isn't it? This is a reissue. Great track. Number 9, Couldn't Leave Out, Pink Floyd. Syd Barrett, of course, one of the founding fathers of British Psych, I suppose. The song from this record, this is Relics, of course. Let's go with Emily Play, which See Emily Play, sorry, which has that kind of childhood reverie kind of quality to it. Psych music could often be quite nostalgic. English Psych, anyway. Not sure about American Psych, but English Psych has got that kind of yearning quality, yearning for childhood. There's a slight sort of eerie quality to it, quite spooky. There's some weird sort of backward organs in it and all kinds of strange little touches. Quite disconcerting, quite trippy. So there we have See Emily Play. This is not some strange exclusive version of the cover. I actually did that myself when I was a kid, so that's why it looks like that. Okay, so number 8, let's go with the Monkees and the Porpoise song, which is the opening song, isn't it, in their movie Head, and it's a really, really trippy scene. It's the start of the film. Which one is it? One of the Monkees jumps off a bridge and goes into the ocean. Is it Mickey Dolenz? Or is it all the Monkees? I can't quite remember. Anyway, very, very trippy, very strange, psychedelic song, really weird lyrics, and lots of phasing and all that classic stuff that goes on. Sonic trickery that goes with psych music. It completely buried their career, really, Head. The teeny boppers didn't know what to make of it. But the Porpoise song is a great track. This next one, I love this. I got into this in the 90s. I can't remember how I came by it, but it's a track by The Nice, and the song is called Diamond Hard Blue Apples of the Moon, which is really, really trippy. It's very hard to describe it. You need to hear it, really. I'll try and do a playlist for this video. It's just got all the kind of phasing and the echo and the reverb and the strange sound effects, really strange lyrics. Diamond Hard Blue Apples of the Moon, no idea what it's meant to be about. Well, I assume it's about Diamond Hard Blue Apples of the Moon, what more do you need? I mean, The Nice were precursors to ELP, I guess, but they were quite a different band, really. They were not really what you think of as being kind of high prog. They were something different. Anyway, that's just a really great track. I always loved it. So there we go, The Nice, Diamond Hard Blue Apples of the Moon. Let's go with the fantastically psychedelic cover for Nuggets, and we'll go with the opening track, I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night by the Electric Prunes, which is just a prime slice of psychedelia. This album is known as being a bit of a psych artifact. It says original artifacts from the first psychedelic era, but I don't think all the tracks on this record are psychedelic. Some of it is garage rock, suburban teen rock, whatever, but there's a few classic psychedelic songs on this record. I went for that one. There's something very trippy about the idea of having too much to dream. I just thought that would be a nice one to include. So there we go. The Electric Prunes, I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. This next one, perhaps a bit of an obscurity. This is the Moody Blues from the album To Our Children's Children, which I think came out in '69 maybe. And it's the song Out and In, which is the closing song on side 1. As I remember, it's written by Mike Pinder, the keyboard player, and John Lodge, the bass player. It's full of mellotrons and moogs. I say moog, you say moog. Let's call the whole thing off. Mike Pinder was the keyboard player in the Moodies. It's a track about self-absorption, really, or a kind of journey into the nature of self. Again, it's very trippy. It's got kind of woozy psychedelic sound effects going on. Really good track, actually. It's got a great fade out. Really kind of long, drawn out, weird kind of psychedelic fade out to it. And I guess the Moodies were a kind of psych band, really, in the 60s, weren't they? Maybe psych, art rock, psych. Bit of prog. Okay, now I can give you some numbers now because I'm back on straight ground. I think we're on number 4, and this is a very well-known song, "Break On Through" by the Doors. I think you could argue that is a psych song, really. The Doors got their name from the Aldous Huxley book, The Doors of Perception, and I guess this is their theme song. So it's the idea of breaking through the doors of perception and entering another world, a world that exists beyond time and space and the mental categories which define our existence. All that great Doors ensemble playing. The Doors were great because they didn't really need to do any of the sort of cliched stuff that went with psych. Psych could be quite a cliched genre, really. With the tablas and the sitars and everything. The Doors didn't need to do that. They were such great musicians that they could evoke this trippy kind of otherworldly kind of feel just by their instruments. Ray Manzarek's keyboard obviously had a kind of floaty spectral quality to it. Number 3, we'll go with the great pop psych mod track "I Can Hear the Grass Grow" by The Move, which would have come out in about 66, I think. And there's Roy Wood there. Wasn't a very psychedelic person, Roy. He didn't take drugs, didn't take acid, didn't even smoke pot, as far as I know. A bit like the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson, he was not into surf, but he did all these great surfing songs. Roy was not into psychedelics, but he knew how to do a good, cool pop psych tune. There's something very trippy about the idea of hearing the grass grow. It's that thing of mingling and mixing the senses of perception, which is one of the things that you encounter if you have some sort of psychedelic experience. So I'm reliably informed. "I Can Hear the Grass Grow" by The Move. Great stuff. Right, number 2, one of my all-time favourite tracks by this band. I heard this back in the 90s. I was sharing a house with a friend. I bought the CD, brought it home, played it, and my friend came home and I said, "You've got to hear this. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard." And I put it on for him, and we both just sat there listening to it. This is the Beach Boys and the fantastic song "Feel Flows," which was written and sung by Carl Wilson. Very, very trippy song. Very long, kind of drawn out, weird woozy textures, psychedelic ambience to it. Really, really great. Bit of a forgotten treasure in their catalogue. Beach Boys. And then for number 1, I'm going to go with the Beatles. Sorry to be predictable. All sorts of tracks I could have picked. Could have picked "Rain," could have picked "Strawberry Fields," "It's All Too Much," various songs I could have chosen. "A Day in the Life." I actually went for "Tomorrow Never Knows" in the end from Revolver, which I think arguably it's their most psychedelic moment. That or "A Day in the Life." It's just like a big psychedelic firecracker going off, really. Largely done with tape loops, and you've got that fantastic trancey drum rhythm from Ringo Starr. John's voice comes floating over the top. I think he wanted to sound like the Dalai Lama singing from a mountain top, so they put his voice through a rotating Leslie speaker and messed around with it. And the lyrics were taken from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. "Turn off your mind, relax and float downstream." None more psychedelic from Revolver, 1966, by the Beatles. And that's your lot. 10 psychedelic favourites of mine, anyway. Take care, folks. See you soon. Bye-bye.